Well, the map is live and we are going to jump right into it. It's Heavy Rain, game number 2 here between Elfi and Apocalypse. The first game ended in favor of the Protoss player. It also spawns to the top of the map here in blue. Once again, we have the Finnish player. It is Elfi in a 1-0 lead in the best of 5.
Poised, crouching tiger.
Apparently a little bit bored by the matchup. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how else I would interpret that. But yeah, so I don't think he thinks that Apocalypse is a challenge. To the bottom of the map, on the other hand, we have his opponent in red. This is, of course, the Terran player. It is Apocalypse. And, well, he had a bit of trouble here in game number 1. Overcommitted a bit to his defense against the Blink Stalker that we saw from Elfi, who transitioned into the expansion. But let's see what exactly those two are up to in game number 2 here on Heavy Rain. Another map that is really, really good for Blink Stalkers. And Elfi apparently thought that it's a quite easy map for him. That was a priceless shot there. I mean,
seriously.
That was great.
When you ask Protoss and Zerg, when you ask Terran and Zerg players how they think of people who play Protoss, that's how they look. Like playing the whole game with one water bottle in their hand, taking drinks, yawning.
It's especially great when you have a player like Elfi, who is very well known for his low APM.
Yeah.
He was already known for that in Warcraft 3 back then, but in StarCraft he was kind of his trademark too.
And look at Apocalypse. 200 to 300, sometimes over 300.
There's Elfi, the usual 60 to 40. That's where Elfi feels comfortable.
But you know, he plays a lot recently. He's been playing ladder like the whole day long. Practiced hard for this event and still doesn't get faster, so it's all in his brain.
Well, the thing is, like, as long as you only make the important clicks, I can really see that working out for him. But usually, like in general, a StarCraft 2 player, of course, has a lot higher APM than that. By the way, talking a little bit about the Protoss versus Terran matchup, did you see this amazing GIF that we saw on Reddit with
the Colossus and the Marine?
No, not actually not that. Like when we saw, like, as a Zerg player, the discussion between Terran and Protoss, and then suddenly you see Scarlet like eating during GSL Code 8. Do you see that?
You've got to link me that later then.
Dude, it was amazing. I laughed for 10 minutes straight. I looked at it and was like, oh my god, that is so fitting. I'm going to show you later. It's definitely a good one. But well, right now we are in the second game, as already mentioned. Let's see what exactly Apocalypse is going to do this time. Will Elfi stick true with the MO that we saw in game number 1 and use the Blink Stalkers to intimidate his opponent a little bit? Or is Apocalypse suddenly in a situation where he can fend this off a bit easier? For now, we actually don't see him with the super early Reaper here. Instead, we have him prioritizing back at home the reactor. Can go into a double Reaper production after that. And already has an SCV out there. Just having a quick look at the natural. Very unlikely that he's trying to block that with an engineering bay, of course, and it would have been way too late anyway since the Zealot was already out there. Yeah,
ideally if someone skipped Zealot for sure, then you can throw up the eBay, but at this moment he's chosen not to do it. Going for a factory, so 2 Marines, reactor, a factory and a command center. And for Elfi, he's delaying his own expansion for quite a bit. Is he going to throw it up soon at 450, or is he going straight into a tech path? He has the 2 gases. He's been mining from 2 gases all along, and Terran knows that. So it's definitely already that scare card. I've got double gases. I could be going for Blink again. You don't know. But throw up the Nexus for now.
And that's exactly the thing that you're never really sure about when you play someone like Elfi. He's one of those players where he could do anything. Like, sometimes he plays a little bit crazy. And that's exactly what you're scared of. So, as you already said, that scare potential is definitely there. Mothership Core and 1 Zealot going up against the Marines here. And we already see that Elfi is changing his style a bit with the Stargate that we see right now. And we've had actually, especially in Korea, a lot of Protoss players using a lot of Phoenixes against Terran these days. How do you like that build? Do you still prefer going into an Oracle, or did you experiment with going Phoenixes against Terran?
Do they go straight for Phoenixes?
Yeah, we have a couple of those that go straight for Phoenixes. Classic, for example, did that a couple of times, and he had really good success with that.
Classic is a very smart player, so I will make it a bit more of a likely build, more of a good build in my head, hearing that he does that. But I still like going for an Oracle first. I think the revelation, the chance of utterly destroying the Terran base if they are uncareful with their defenses, and yeah, just the envision, everything. I think the abilities are very good. I don't like going straight for Phoenixes that much, but Oracle into Phoenix, I think it's always pretty good.
Phoenixes just seem to be especially great to shut down drop play in general. We had a couple of Terran players still trying to make it work, but the problem is you might get the drop in, but you don't get the units out after
Yeah,
that.
that's
So
right, that's right.
the medivac is going to die, and your units are going to be doomed. So it's always just this trade-off. Is it really worth it? Like losing this small attack force? Do you do enough damage before the Phoenixes take down your retreat path, the medivac, of course? And well, for now, we have elfi going into actually double Oracle. He's not only using 1, but 2. And back at home, he adds double cannon. So he's already well aware that he might be up against a few Widow Mines trying to get into this mineral line. And that will help him a lot. But this Oracle actually in a great spot, absolutely unscouted. And there are not a whole lot of Marines present. Most of them are actually all the way at the top left. And the Photonova charge has been dropped. One Oracle gets past. And this is a very, very bad situation for Apocalypse, who's suddenly losing a lot of Harvesters. Already 10 killed, and elfi isn't even done yet.
Yeah, that was completely Apocalypse thinking about attack and not about defense. And the 2 Widow Mines that he had would be amazing defenses against Oracles, but because he didn't know, he's using them aggressively. And there's no way he's going to kill as many workers as elfi just did. 11 workers, I think that will be very hard.
At the same time, elfi doesn't have a lot of detection back at home. He needs to send one of his Oracles back, and that's exactly what he's currently doing. He's still trying to work with the Stalkers against the Marines, but he's well aware that there's another Widow Mine burrowed somewhere. Here comes the Oracle moving in, and detection being used. He needs to get rid of those 2 Widow Mines, and that's exactly what he does. Ooh. Apocalypse is trying actually to escape with one of them.
He did. He dropped 1 Marine. He said, "You're expendable," and my Widow Mine isn't. So he picked that Widow Mine up, and at the same time, his Marines are out of position again. There was no reason for them to stand there above the command center, and he's going to pay for it again. 15 kills already on this Oracle.
Yeah, 16 actually by now, so this is pretty crazy. In total, 16 Harvester killed. And what exactly does that mean? It means that we have 23 SCVs against 38 probes, and this gives elfi an incredible lead in the income. So once again, the Finnish player ahead here in the series.
Yeah, it will be very difficult here for Apocalypse to make a comeback. Stimpack is always delayed when you go for this type of Widow Mine attacks, and that's okay considering you can kill quite a bit of workers with it, but the opposite happened. He has about half of the workers that elfi has, so once elfi reaches 44, 47 workers, he's gonna stop again like he did last game, and then everything will go into army and tech, which will mean he will pull very far ahead again in that section.
Yeah, and one of the problems that Apocalypse has right now is that he just lost the map control that he was trying to establish with that early pressure. We have elfi also with the first few Phoenixes here. He actually has only 1 for now, but that's going to help him just to shut down those medivacs.
That's
nice Widow Mine here. That was actually pretty smart.
Yeah, cool.
Nice move here by Apocalypse, but elfi is moving across the map, trying to just pressure his opponent. To the top left, we have a drop going down at the natural, and that might do some damage, but the warp-in is already ready for the Protoss player and should be able to shut that down. Oh, that medivac has to be very careful, but afterburners for the win. At least they're saving the life of this medivac.
And elfi immediately pulls his Stalkers down. He feels like Apocalypse won't dare again to come back with that medivac so soon since it's low life. And very nice prediction skills here for elfi. That game sense, knowing exactly where it's going to be, and found it all. Now he can commit all his Stalkers to apply more pressure to the Terran.
And elfi at the same time, while he's applying that pressure, is heading once more into the storm. The Templar Archive already on the way, and he's looking at a very, very strong position here. He started to, he stopped the Harvester production at 49, as you already predicted. So Apocalypse is just trying to do some damage here, moving in, sniping another Stalker, and that Oracle is still alive, survived with like maybe 1 hit point. 4 actually.
He killed 2 more stuffs. Survived with 4 hit points, and will now move back to the shadows again. This Oracle has enough energy to do a Revelation, but it's gonna fly over, die, but it did cast the Revelation. Yep,
gets the Revelation off here, and for now he knows exactly about the Terran player's movement and can anticipate that, of course. We see him going straight into... Oh, there's another Templar Archive. Did he cancel number 1? I don't think so.
Nope, double Templar Archives.
Yep, so he's a little bit in autopilot mode right now. Doesn't realize that he already has one, and that will delay his storm significantly.
Yeah, that's true, especially since he doesn't consider he has one already. Now, army size is quite a bit bigger for Apocalypse. 2/3 of the army is what elfi has compared to Apocalypse, so it's a bit risky. But he waits for his Photon Overcharge to do enough damage, uses Time Warp, and does quite a good damage there, but loses all his zealots, and it's a bit risky for him now.
Yeah, exactly. Apocalypse is really starting to do some damage here, but the zealots are now charging in. 2-2 is not done for Elfi just yet, but he chases the Terran player away for now. Resources lost. A bit better for Elfi here with only 2,400 against 3,300, so good job by him.
Yeah, not bad. Good defenses. And there he warps in his first High Templar. Storm is on the way in the second Templar Archives, by the way. Never make Storm on your first Templar Archives, guys.
Yeah,
make it in your second.
Completely on autopilot mode. That just happens sometimes when you don't realize you already build a structure. So for him, definitely a very annoying position. I don't think he even realized just yet that he has two, but he will eventually. Now he clicked at the second one just now. We just saw that on screen, so he knows by now, oh my god, I actually have two of them.
Yeah. As we can see, he doesn't group his Templar Archives. Usually, some players do. And yeah, he doesn't group it, so there's no way for him to see it rather than, I guess, to see it. But part of those high APMs of Koreans is like constantly cycling through their bases and looking at everything. And I think elfi is just really chill.
Oh yeah, he definitely is. Well, we have the third base now going up for him. He already made sure that he killed the Widow Mine that was burrowed there, and is still solidifying that position. Apocalypse with a third on his own back at home. Storm is now done for elfi. He's already starting the +3 armor upgrade, completing +2 attack. So getting all those upgrades out there. And if you look at the Terran player, we only have a +1 attack upgrade for Apocalypse. He's about to complete +1 armor, but he's far behind in the upgrade count. Once again, a few units in the main base, the rest of the army at the third. But elfi is already in position. He's even getting one of the Archons, and he has no problems fending off these attacks. So Apocalypse, he's trying, but he's not really doing a lot of damage.
He did cancel the third, of course.
That's actually a really good point. He did cancel a third, so that's one win that he gets there.
But now it's his army that's a lot smaller and once again heavily out-upgraded. 2-2 for elfi right now, working on 3-3. And I feel like with Chrono Boost, elfi's 3-3 is going to finish about the same time or earlier than the 2-2 for the Terran.
Yeah.
And that's a big problem for Terran.
Yeah, really good point there. And elfi, he wants to fight. He's in a position where he really wants to go up against this army. The Storm already being used there. The Zealots trying to charge in. One missed Storm, hurting the Zealots a bit more than the Terran army. But he still has a surplus in army size, and he's trying to move in once again. Good snipe here by Apocalypse on that one observer. But here comes another Storm. Needs to be a little bit more careful with where he places those Storms.
A lot of those Storms doing some friendly fire.
Exactly, those Steelers are not too happy about that, but now he zones out his opponent, has a very good position here against the third base of Apocalypse, and Apocalypse is in a lot of trouble there. He has one bunker for defense, the SCV is already positioned for the repair, but elfi, he moves back for now, taking quite a few losses there and not doing as much damage as he was hoping for.
Yeah, that's true. That bunker there really saved Apocalypse. If that bunker wasn't there, elfi could just put in a few zealots and keep guarding the natural, doing those zoning storms. But with the bunker there, it's more difficult to wreck the SCV line, and as such, Apocalypse stays in the game. Now 3-3 is about to finish, and elfi is making his Colossus switch again. So by the time his upgrade lead finally ends, he will have 3 Colossus already. So either way, it looks like the upgrade and tech lead is going to be in elfi's court for a long time to come.
What do you think could Apocalypse do? Just hope for like a godlike drop or maybe like a really good EMP that he can hit? Because right now elfi is just trying to completely scatter his forces. He's going in with one force, there's another one to the left. Is elfi spreading himself out a little bit too thinly?
I think so. And to answer your question, what could he do? I think exactly this. Good defenses. Keep doing the best defense possible. I think that's going to be the best. You can't be aggressive anymore in this situation. elfi has shown very well that he can deal with these kind of drops perfectly. So Apocalypse just needs to tide it through until the end, where he has 3-3 just like elfi. Play super defensively.
What do you think elfi's best move is here? He was already trying to run up against the Terran player with drops in the main base and attack at between the natural and the third, and having even a third force in there. But he already he has to realize at this point that Apocalypse, in terms of defense, is doing a great job here. Do you think for elfi would be the best to take a 4th base now?
Yeah, I think a 4th, maybe in a minute or so, would be great. This Zealot, by the way, in the main, killed 12 stuffs, 12 SCVs or something.
Yeah,
Very
probably not
effective.
taking out 12 Marines there. It would be a hero Zealot, but doing a lot of damage. Look at that worker's kill count, 40 against 1. elfi just doing an amazing job in this game with the aggression. But Apocalypse, he's still alive and kicking, and that has to worry elfi a little bit. Back at home, he's already going into this Colossi transition. That's the 4th base that we've been talking about just a second ago. So elfi really trying to make sure that he doesn't open himself up to counter-aggression.
That's a great side drop. Side storm drop. Kill another 8 SCVs there. And let's see, how many Colossus do we have? 2 Colossi, a 3rd one coming out.
And not a single Viking and only 3 Medivacs.
Yeah, it's that same problem again. Apocalypse does what he can just to stay alive. Nice drop there.
Yeah, really well done. Chasing down the War Prism here and dropping the Marines. That was a very good job by the Terran player. But he still has a long way to go. If you actually look at the overall supply, it's very misleading right now. You look at it and it's like, yeah, 10 supply difference.
Pretty equal,
like,
right?
Exactly.
It's just a numbers game after all.
But if you then look at the upgrades, at the tech, those Colossi coming out, no Vikings being present, a very small count in Medivacs, that's where it already indicates that elfi is ahead. But still, Apocalypse with another 1 or 2 good moves could get into a position where he suddenly equalizes the score.
Yeah, here we go. 3 extra barracks, a starport, and a 4th command center. And 3-3. If he can get all this up without dying, that's great. Cancel this, get out without losses.
Nice.
He's got to get out without losses, or no, why do you attack the assimilator? He's just getting ready to do this fight.
Oh my god, that storm did a lot of damage, and yes, to the Zealots too, but still the Marines and the Marauders taking a lot of damage. They're the Colossi moving in. Apocalypse down to 100 supply right now, trying a drop at the natural, but immediately elfi with another round of warp winds, and back to the bottom right, we have those Zealots still going ham, trying to take down a few of the units. They're charging in once again, killing Marines and Marauders, and so much pressure on Apocalypse right now. He's dropping an overall supply. elfi just swapping in round after round every single time he can. He doesn't have that 4th base anymore. He needs to do some damage, and he's trying to do it now. He's going in at that 3rd once more. The repair on the bunker going strong, but with all of those Colossi, it's very difficult for the Terran player to make that happen.
Yeah, these are 3-3 upgraded Zealots with 1 shield as well. Even 4 Zealots took so long to clear up, and now we've got Archon Colossi coming in. elfi with a great game sense, knowing that he doesn't need to wait longer. He's exploiting his upgrade advantage, his tech advantage, attacking before this double starport can come into use with the Viking counts. And it looks very similar to last game, where elfi dominates the game and does the right attack timings. And he doesn't let this game spiral out of control by letting Apocalypse get back into the game.
Yeah, there was definitely a bit of a scary moment there when Apocalypse took out that 4th base of elfi, while at the same time establishing his own 4th, or getting the command center at least. But elfi, of course, he realized how far ahead he was, moves across the map, tries to do the counter-aggression, and that's exactly what works here. Only 2-3 Vikings, that's all that Apocalypse has against elfi's army. And the Finnish player is moving in and doing the damage. The 3rd base already long gone, and he's making his way into the natural. GG being called, and elfi, he takes game number 2 against his opponent, and therefore the 2-0 lead in the best of 5.
Yeah, elfi said that he thought it might be a 3-0 victory for him.
He was very, very confident going into the series.
Yeah. And it looks like, yeah, he might do exactly that.